And if it's fixed, it's fixed. If it's not, it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, here we go, guys.
What do they want from us?
What do you want? What are we talking about here? Let's see.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Nick.
There we go.
Okay, here we are.
Yep.
It's the Tuesday night marathon, and I guess I get the games with a little, there we go.
Boom.
All right, live from downtown San Francisco, it is the Mechanics Institute show starring Paul Whitehead and Grandmaster Nick DeFermian. How are you doing this evening, Nick?
So far, so good. And we have, the live comedy club in the Mechanics Institute.
Well, I have to tell jokes because I can't play chess very well. So we're going to leave that to you, Nick. I'm here with my junior mints and my orange juice and trying to keep it real here at the club.
Junior mints, good stuff. That's
It's been a long time since I've had any. So this is board one. We're in the other room. There's 60 plus players all playing chess, and I'm in the chess room office, and the players are masked up and in deep battle with each other. 2 hours a game aside, delay 5.
it's something in this. The pandemic's still going, and 60 players in the club. It's quite fabulous. That was like how it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And how many continual live events are there with so many participants? Maybe nothing in all of the San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. I gave the lecture today, Nick. And I was going to get around to that Carlson game that you showed. That's a bit of a sensation on the internet, that game. That end game. Even though it could have been drawn by Fallujah, apparently. He did the wrong thing. He trusted Carlson. When Carlson went back with King E5, he should have plunged forward, apparently, with his pawn instead of returning the pawn.
And he would have made a draw.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, he had a draw, but it was difficult.
Yeah, and Carlson just apparently was moving at lightning speed throughout this and really putting the pressure on Fallujah, who was in time trouble.
Now, players in the Tuesday night marathon might learn from Carlson. If you blitz out like that, your opponents get nervous.
Right. You act like you know what you're doing.
Can you believe that, Magnus, acting like he knew what he was doing?
I know. Anyway, so let's go back to the beginning of this game. This is the top seed in the tournament, Ezra Chambers, in the Tuesday night marathon, which began in 1972 and looks like it's never going to end. And so in this version, round 2 here of 7, Ezra Chambers, FIDE Master, is the top rated player in the tournament. He's playing Alex Chin, who's rated 1992, and it's a center counter with knight f6. Or what do you call it, Nick? What is it? What do you call this? Is it the Scandinavian?
Yes, I think you call it either Scandinavian or center counter with knight f6.
Do the Russians, do they have a name for it, like, Boris Badenov for opening or something like that?
Yeah, Rocky the Squirrel variation, I think.
Rocky the Squirrel. Yeah, I think so.
It's of course, various people will call things slightly different, but now there's an English language tradition on the internet, and people accept these sort of English language names. They call it the Scandinavian a little more than the center counter, but
I always called it the center counter.
yes.
Okay, so it also has an ECO code, which I'm not familiar with. Although there are players like Elliot Winslow could probably tell you the ECO code to this opening.
Now, our viewers may not know that the ECO codes have been established in the Dewey Decimal System of the National Library and done by our own Mechanics Institute librarian, Stephen Dunlop.
That's right. From a suggestion from the chess club.
Which must have been you. That's
well, I was in on it, but Stephen must take the credit for sure. Here we go. I wonder if the Cleveland Public Library has paid attention to that. Anyway, here's okay. So this variation is called the Portuguese, the Marshall variation of the center count. Oh, this stuff. And this is probably not. What's white supposed to do here?
Well, the idea of pawn to f3 was the Portuguese variation, the gambit, where white will hold on to the pawn. But okay, bishop e2 is a nice safe move. That's you can't be worse with white.
Maybe white should take with the queen here. I think taking with the knight doesn't seem to give him much.
Well, it develops a piece.
Yeah.
It's just castles. This can be a very tricky line. And why not c4, d5? I would have gone, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
c4, sorry, the queen takes it. I was thinking the knight would have taken.
Right, but he took back with the queen, and that looks...
That's good, actually.
That's a good move, I think. Yeah, I like that too.
And you have to castle. There's no choice.
I guess knight f4? No, probably not. Okay.
But just castle. It guards your g-pawn. It does that. Knight c6. I might have tried pawn to b3.
For white
like
here.
hit with pawn to c4. But Ezra, black must be okay. But the knight's developed and the castling queenside, going to be pressure on the center.
e5 is a nice bold move. And look at this. Castles with the knight hanging.
All right, Ezra has he grew up in the Mechanics Institute, went away for a while, and he's come back and he's the #1 rated player ahead of the great Elliot Winslow.
Well, e6 is the only move that looks like it gives the possibility of much. f4 is probably too greedy, but maybe.
That is a greedy move. Pawn to f4, bishop c5, check knight e3. You're down in development. The black piece is coming in.
Yeah, okay.
Ezra's playing for the gusto here, but pawn to e6 is just safe.
I should remind you that Ezra is white.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I was thinking these were very solid, safe moves with white, and
it's Ezra that's the one that's playing the solid, safe moves.
And in fact, okay, white is a little better. It's not a lot, but a little bit. You can get the knight to d2 to e4 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Black's going to get an isolated pawn. I think you have to take on e6.
He did. All right, so on board 2, Ilya Gilmolfarb. Let's go back to the beginning. Ilya Gilmolfarb. Hi, Gulko fan. Mike Walder joining us.
We are very lucky to have Mike Welder. He's commenting. He's another commentator here with all these insights into the openings and tactics of the position.
My boss is coming in to fix something.
I'll fix something up here.
My boss is chess room director Abel Tolamentes,
Let's see, what's it?
who has steered the mechanics through the pandemic and also has become the chess organizer of the year, recognized by the United States Chess Federation.
Christine Clemens.
My guess is he and Mechanics Institute Youth Outreach Coordinator Judith Starry should just alternate this award every year between them.
We almost did that. She won it in 2017. So, okay.
On a permanent basis. They get my vote.
Uh-oh. That's not.
That's
we
not Emma Farb. Oh, that is Emma Farb Winslow. Yeah, that's okay. I just started looking at that game. Yeah, so it's all good.
That's not the.
That's not the current situation. Yeah. If anybody wants a junior mint, well, you'll have to come into the chess club office on the 4th floor of the Mechanics Institute Chess Club and come get one, because I'm not going to mail it to you. So, Gimmelfarb is rated 1752, and Winslow, International Master Elliot Winslow, whose career stretches back into the 1960s. Can you believe it?
That is pretty good. That is. I'm wondering, 1960s is good. Do we know anybody whose career stretches into the 1950s?
1950s?
I'm trying to think of a person. That,
I don't know anybody that
Oh.
old.
oh, actually,
Sadie?
Anthony Sadie is down in Los Angeles, and I, sort of get emails from he and John Donaldson a lot.
Frank Thornley, possibly. Did he play in his first chess, or was he involved in chess in the 50s? Max Burkett. Shout out to Max Burkett, even though he's probably not listening. Thornley.
Frank Thornley in the 50s. That would be terrific, right here in the Bay Area.
I'm not sure, though. We might be making him out to be older than he is.
Well, he started young. That's 1950s is very good. Of course, Bobby Fischer was in the 50s.
That's true. That's true. And if there's anybody whose career stretches back into the 40s, let us know. We'll give you a shout out.
There must be somebody in the chess club in the Mechanics Institute
That
started in
stretches
the
back
40s.
out to the 50s?
I was thinking the 40s.
40s. Oh, jeez.
You know who came by the club today?
Abel's telling me a story. Who came by the club today? Tom Mazer. That's right.
I'm trying to remember. I took a picture of him. He said he played in the Simul here against Nadorf and got a draw.
Oh, yeah. Nadorf gave a simul here. And he got a draw. This guy got a draw with him.
Oliver something.
I know that Steve was here and played Nadorf a bunch of blitz. Steve Brandywine, the chess room coordinator at the time, played Nadorf a whole bunch of blitz games here at the Mechanics, and apparently did quite well. Maybe broke even with him a few games or something like that.
Oh, Steve used to play with Fischer and win some games. So
That's insane to think of that.
And I remembered the name too from reading one of the old newsletters.
Huh.
And he come back after a long time.
Yeah, Nadorf. And Tom Mazer might have played back in the 50s? I don't know. When was Nadorf? Nadorf must have been here in the in the 90s, or I think maybe in the 80s. Huh.
Probably the 80s.
Yeah.
So Frank Thornley started in 1962.
Well, that makes him pretty old.
And somebody walked in, it's like, yeah, I played Capablanca in the simul.
That's right. We want somebody that played Capablanca here.
Well, we had some. Who is the fellow? Latinsky or somebody? He was 95. He died a few years ago, but really went back to.
I didn't know the guy. Yeah. Pretty soon we are already that guy.
Okay, when you're 95, Paul, I will. That's.
All right,
I'll
here we
ask
go.
you about the old days.
Here we go. This is Gimmelfarb versus Winslow. And we're getting this. So what is the thing here? Should you bring the knight back or play e6?
But knight back they're both playable. Knight back is the most logical.
And then this move.
And the bishop moves, and then something like, that is playable. You could also just play pawn to d6, attacking the center.
Yeah.
So it's all respectable for the black side.
Yeah, I think black has done quite well here.
The game's about even. East is developed. Oh, knight a3 guards the pawn. Look how quickly they both are playing. Although,
No, well, I'm going through the moves.
I'm sorry, that's you making the moves, and it's
It's
okay.
black's move now.
Himmelfart has been thinking quite a while, and Winslow not quite as much.
Actually, it's Winslow who's thinking now.
But he's got he is down on time.
No, Winslow is ahead in time. Elliot's black.
Okay, the top time is black side. Okay, he is ahead by almost 20 minutes.
Yeah. So looks like black is doing fine here. I mean,
Yes, Mike Welder quotes Tall that if the game is even, black is ahead. Black is better. That was the old view of the world. But in the new view of the world, players just play chess and may just get an even position with white. But
and then it becomes a struggle in the middle game, a late middle game. Trying to work a tiny advantage. Queen h5, bishop e4.
yes.
Okay, well, let's see. Black seems to be doing okay. Let's go down to board 3, where Nathan Fong is playing Sean Kelly. And I'm going to take it all the way back. And it doesn't get any more contemporary. Okay, white plays bishop g5. And I showed the game that Karyakin beat Carlsen during the lecture today, where Karyakin played knight d5, which used to be a sideline and is now one of the main lines. And it's
Yes.
Go ahead.
Nobody's been getting a real advantage against the Sveshnikov. So this bishop g5 was always the most principled move. It was the Karpov move, but somehow black does seem to equalize. So
And
knight d5.
this is actually one of the variations that has one of the few variations it has Lasker's name on it, which is interesting. The Lasker Pelican, right?
They certainly used to call it that.
Yeah.
So, which side would Lasker have?
Black. He was a player that would play a move that that the dogmatists would scoff at, and but because it had practical value, he would go ahead and play it. And so a move like E5 in the Sicilian is a good example of that kind of thinking, I think.
A lot of players would call it an ugly move, but there's so much point to it.
Yeah.
And 100 years later, Lasker's been vindicated.
Of course, the play, it's all much more sophisticated now with, years of opening theory and so on. What about
But
this?
the ideas are the same. It's
Right.
you gain the tempo, you play something that looks ugly, but there's some benefit. And Lasker could see the benefits, but the other people could only see the ugliness.
So what about this position? I mean, F5 for black or Bishop E6. What are these? There must be those must be alternatives to Bishop G7.
F5 is the most usual, but Bishop G7 might just transpose.
Right.
It's,
and let me point out to anybody looking that knight E7 should be avoided in this position.
It is a slight mistake.
It's not good. Knight E7 has something completely wrong with it. And I'll leave it to you all to figure it out. It took me a second, but okay. But now he can play knight E7. There we go.
And there he does. Okay.
The fight for D5. And white doesn't lose any time by trading, although it looks like he could play C4 or something like that too, maybe. I don't know.
Yes, but it's everybody, when Karpov would win these positions with white, everybody said, white is better because of the weak squares on D5 and double pawns and stuff. And then everyone started playing it, especially Carlsen, and they say, yeah, okay, you got that, but this terrible knight on A3, we have the bishop pair. In fact, the position is dynamically equal, and that's what the theory has worked out.
So what's the move? Queen H5 here or something? Yeah.
At this point, no, you trade the knight so that the doesn't.
Who talks about this line in his books is Kasparov. He thinks this is one of the main transition opening that was one of the main openings of his time. The viability of this for black, whereas before it just thought to be bad or suspect. Anyway.
Kasparov didn't play this opening much. He was a Najdorf and Scheveningen player. He followed the Fischer school of chess. Kramnik would play this opening on the black side, and Carlsen even better for the black side.
Right. This could very well be theory. There's a certain logic to all this. Although, what did black just blow a pawn?
Ouch. Ouch.
Yeah.
That is a pawn you don't like losing.
No. Black made a mistake here.
And an easy mistake to make. White, it looked like things were messed up. Pawn to b4, and suddenly that's a great check on a4.
Okay. Black is oh, whoa, and white castle's on the queen side. I would not have done that. Nathan Fong is a strong player, and actually it's a quite aggressive move. But
Hey, there is action in this here city.
I would have been castling on the king side, but this is, it doesn't look that bad. There's pressure on d6. There's immediate pressure on d6. So.
I mean, white must be better, of course. Oh, okay, I don't know. All right, f3, interesting.
Yeah.
You've got the extra pawn.
And black
Right.
is thinking.
So it looks like Sean Kelly made a blunder losing that b-pawn.
Yeah.
But he's trying to mix it up.
So it's still white for choice here, for sure.
Oh, yes.
All right, let's move on to Adam Stafford versus Nicholas Wang, and this going all the way back. The poison pawn variation, Nick. Oh, but black plays knight c6. Is this a sideline of the poison pawn?
Yeah, I mean, declining taking the pawn, so
my thought would have been that okay, white castles, and if black trades everything on d4, white's better because white has more space in the middle of the board and is ahead in development, a bit ahead in development. Is that wrong?
castles going to an endgame would be, a reasonable choice.
Okay. So this is transposed into a rouser. White plays bishop f6. That would not have been my move, but that's taste, I suppose. Michael's saying that this is just normal opening advantage for white. This position's probably been seen numerous times.
Yes. Pretty normal. I like this battle, Adam Stafford against Nicholas Wang. They're both very
so
sophisticated players.
Here on black. What is the plan here? White's trying to entice the H pawn forward. Is trying to win the H pawn. So I don't know. I've never. Knight b4, knight a5.
Then probably comes rook a3.
He's doing the f5 idea. But what does that accomplish? Well, it cuts off the queen's lateral defense to the H pawn. I don't know. Okay. That's a good move, queen e5, clearly. I think black is doing great here.
I didn't like that move, knight takes h5.
Yeah, what you mean? White playing knight takes a5?
Yeah, somehow you let black have some squares. The more crowded the position, something can happen.
Maybe rook d3 wasn't so good either. You should have played rook h3. I don't know.
But even now, play rook h3 after knight a5.
Okay, same thing.
And
yeah,
I mean, there's some possible tactics with knight d5 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay. This is too simple. Queen e5 is excellent.
hard to dislodge that queen.
Yeah, and I think white. Michael's saying that white's made mistakes. White should have played knight d5 at some point. Maybe here. White should have played knight d5. That looks good.
With the knight on a5.
Yeah.
Okay, so knight d5. On takes d5 is well. Clearly, Mike Wilder knows the theory of this position. Where
all right, knight
to have him
d5.
here.
All right, I agree. It looks good for white. It looks like that would positionally be good. End up probably being good for white, especially if black has to play e takes d5.
You said both. You could cover on that knight on a5 with knight a4 or knight to d5.
Ooh, knight a4. That's interesting. Same idea. And he's saying rook d3 was an error, which we thought might have not have. If it doesn't threaten anything, it's kind of what's the point of it, right? It looks like a3 is more useful, or rook h3 or something like along those lines.
Okay, I think Mike Welder could easily write that.
Knight a4. Okay,
and then
we'll
an
move
opening
on.
class on this, but still, it's a pretty reasonable play by Adam and Nicholas. That
Okay, interesting position.
And
let's move.
Okay, that queen on e5 is nice, but it's
it still has to do something, right, Nick?
Yes, and just like and the pawn on f5, you can lose that pawn on f5 if black gets the pawns kind of destroyed. So still, it's queen on e5 is nice, but bishop e3, maneuver that knight around. It's if this is a game.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Guy Argo is white against Kevin Sun, and I'm going to go all the way back again. Boom, 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 boom. This Grand Prix attack, which is dangerous if you don't know it. This is reasonable. This is a reasonable way for black to play, I would guess. What about this?
That was good. I don't know if you should have gone 8-6 b5 to chase the bishop away. But,
right. The bishop wants to be on that diagonal anyway. What's the right setup for black here?
That white bishop on b3 is a pretty good piece, so white's gotten some edge out of this opening.
I agree.
Okay, the two bishops, and especially with that bishop on b3, got some long-term advantage here. Black solid on the king side. Things develop. E5 really starts the action. You have to do that so quickly.
My instinct is to play f5 if I'm white, but what do I know? Or even bishop d2 first and make your decision later.
I would have developed, bishop d2, rook d1.
Okay, but
Don't
e5
commit
is,
yourself.
chess is interesting because there's choices. e5 starts the action right away. That's black takes and then plays in the center, but it looked to me like, even here is knight h5, probably not good. But it yeah. Black's risking something here, but so is white. Okay, that's a nice direct move, isn't it? Like, okay, I'm attacking your knight and your pawn. What are you going to do? Knight e3.
We have some action right away.
Yeah. Black chose knight c7 to hang on to everything.
Okay, that's a little passive. Right, so white just must be better after a move like that.
But white plays c3, and I find that to be
Oh, why? You want to try to get the center. I understand, but
it might not be so bad. White's still got this nice position after this, I think. I'm not sure. Black's knight at c7 is poor. What should black have done here? Knight e3? Knight, yeah. White's got something here. Knight e3 just pitches a pawn. It might not be any good either, really.
yeah, you get bishops of opposite color, but you're right. The pawn down is.
I think white's just
Not so
better
great.
here. White played c3. I agree. It looks a little odd, but yeah, black's probably doing better than he should have. Maybe. I don't know. White's got all kinds of stuff here.
E6 is a nice move. Stop those bishops.
White's got to be better here. Two bishops, f-file, tactics, a4, the center. Ugh. And black actually felt like he had to give up a pawn.
Oh, but that no. Don't give. Oh, that's a terrible thing because he's not giving up a pawn with that move.
He is, though, because white's targeting f7 after he takes twice.
Oh,
So I think
and
black,
that's a terrible move.
Yeah, I think
terrible move.
I'm not sure what black should play here, but
Just queen d7.
Queen
Just
d7?
guard things.
okay.
Hold
tight.
No reason to panic.
But Nick, I want to panic. That's.
But
Yeah,
it's
like-
funny. It looks like you give a pawn and you think you have an action retort, but as you pointed out, it's not an action retort because the f7 pawn is going to be hanging.
Yeah. So I think what black might have missed, hoping to play rook e5 or bishop e5 here, is that white has queen f7 at the end of that. And
His
so,
wishes are queen f7.
so black plays rook e6, threatening bishop takes e5. And
But
white
pawn
is thinking,
d4 is just
yeah.
all solid on the western front.
Also, can white play rook f7 here?
Oh, going for the action. You gotta like that. Wow. Oh, Paul, you might have a killer move with that. Rook f7, and if king takes f7, rook f1 check. Possibly could
That's
black
just
do.
crushing. Yeah. That's it. The end of game right there.
The Paul Whitehead killer shot. That's
Well, you know, I ate my Wheaties this morning.
Nice. That's what it takes.
Yeah.
no, that would be 2 pawns to begin with and opening the diagonal and just nothing anyone can do after that move.
Okay, well, Guy Argo is, well, we found it, Nick. This is what chess players
Nice.
live for.
Okay, Guy, nicely done. You just gone for it this game
You're
against a
you're
very
teaching,
good opponent.
you're teaching the kid a good lesson with this.
It's a nice one.
You know, I want to tell players like Kevin who are young, and they should not do everything not to play like old man chess. You know, that's their mission, is to play like young tactical geniuses. And look, it brought Hosea the international master title without even trouble. You know, just let's get into a tactical mess, and I'm younger than you, and I can outcalculate you, and that's it.
Well, I have to say though, because we have such great club players, you have a talented youngster here. They'd learn from these club players like Guy,
Yeah,
who's
you have to run the
teaching Kevin's
gauntlet.
son.
You have to run the gauntlet of geezers.
Well, don't call them geezers. They're great chess players. Look f7. You cannot call that person a geezer.
No, not
Geezer
at all.
Paul.
Not at all. That's a brilliant move.
It's
Yeah,
it's
Guy.
action. It's tactics. It's you can keep the focus on this position for a while. This game needs to be annotated, of course.
Well, let's move on briefly or quickly rather. Here's Mercado versus Svobada, and this is on board. We're going quite slow this evening, but that's okay. The games are 2 hours aside. This is a King's Indian. And White makes an elementary mistake here. I think he plays bishop g5, which just gives Black a completely easy game. White should play queen c2 or knight d2 maybe here to defend the e4 pawn. But bishop g5 just gives away the two bishops without gaining enough for White here. Makes Black's game easy.
Yes, the bishop can't retreat because
of
it needs to
G5.
keep the knight pinned and g5 is happening. So
And so
White needs to exchange.
The only advantage White gets is this temporary thrust on the queen side, which is really not enough of an opening advantage.
Well, trading off that dark squared bishop was something.
Black is better here. I think.
Black is at least equal after that.
Yeah.
So.
And White plays these positions should be played with the bishop on the board. But b6 is unnecessary. Black plays a little bit. Now Black starts. I saw this game a little bit, and Black should play a more fluid kind of position, but instead he goes for this locked up thing. You know, I mean it's good, but it doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, I think f5 and h5 and get that dark squared bishop into play would have been the way to go.
And now with everything so crystal clear, and what's bishop d1 is actually that could be good if the bishop can go out to a4, but it looks slow. And that obviously was not White's intention. White is just pulling his pieces back without really.
Yeah, I think White could have gone forward.
Yeah, C5 or something, but. And now. Oh, and this is capitulation for the queen side. Everything.
A5. Oh, now B5. Just it was terrible to allow A5.
And now
But
everything.
B5.
Now everything is going to happen on the king side, where black is, well, at this point maybe white can just, if he's got to run with the king, I think. But he runs in the wrong direction, Petrosian would say. The white king would be safe on, A3 or something like that, maybe. Look, this is almost
all happening
comical.
for black.
It's almost comical, Nick. The migration of the knights from their aggressive positions to their passive positions. And white opens the game up where he's getting attacked.
This king f7 by black is a little slow. Why not develop your bishop d7? So action is happening, and black is still better, but it's nice timing to try pawn to g3 after king to f7.
Although if white takes on f4, that's going to open up the position for the black bishop. Yikes.
It's still bad for the white side, sorry.
He did it. And now that black bishop at g7 is in the game. And black goes ballistic with knight takes e4.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Okay, that hits the rook on a1.
Yeah, but it allows white to... What is this move? Knight takes f4. It doesn't seem to work.
Well, wait a minute. Nothing's
it does.
them.
Oh, this has gone well for white.
Yeah, suddenly, you don't care about the exchange. There was king safety, and suddenly it's not a locked up position with a crushing.
But bishop bishop f5 is met by knight takes d6 check. So black plays g3, and white takes with the knight.
Okay, so the white king is safe.
And black is
exchange down for one pawn.
And it's white's move.
If those black pieces were developed, then it would be great.
Knight e6 looks like the move maybe here for white. Or queen e4 first.
I kind of like your knight e6. Yeah, it's black would be better if black were developed. But, that bishop c8, rook on a8. Knight e6 looks good. Knight bishop takes e6, pawn takes e6, king takes e6.
Rook e1 check or queen e4 check?
Yeah, maybe queen e4 check.
Oh, yeah.
Or rook e1 check. You're giving...
Yeah. And if bishop e5, then pawn f4, yeah.
Actually, just pawn f4 and the bishop f3 attacking the rook on a8 plus the bishop on h8.
White's. This was a nice pawn exchange sacrifice by white, but absolutely necessary. White really fought back, starting with g3, and black is in his own zone here.
King f7 was just wrong. Just develop your bishop to d7.
Knight e2 is the process of getting the knights back into activity. It was a good move, and after knight e4, like I said, Black's in his own zone, but this is a nice little turnaround, and White's in the driver's seat with 96.
Yes, it was trading your wonderful position and initiative for a little bit of material, but
That's so tempting when you're playing chess too. When you're playing,
you think you played well and you deserve to win material. But
right? And skilled players have a way of making you make the wrong choice. I've noticed.
a good opponent will do that.
Yeah, there's something about a very skilled opponent can get you to make the wrong choice like that. Interesting. Okay, well, let's go. Let's just move on here to this game. Unfortunately, the DGT board bombed on that game. So here's a Caustic Clemens, and we're still going to go. We've been going real slowly, but it's a Petrov with Bishop C4.
Now it was knight takes e4 here, and then what's the move the black played?
Black played D5. Does Black have
Oh,
something?
knight takes e5, which is okay. This just doesn't quite work for White.
Does Black have a great move here after knight takes e5, or is just d5?
Well, you
good
play
enough?
d4. You have to play d4.
Black is great here, right?
It looks like you can't. Now Black's being pushed back, or White's being pushed back. Sorry, so
We have an
maybe
even game.
White's but
White is yeah, and Black has Bishop h2 check. No.
probably not. Bishop h2 check, king takes h2 check, knight b4, king to g3.
Yeah, that's not good enough. Or even king h3 maybe. Still, he didn't do it. He played queen b6. White's looks like he could. Something might get him into trouble, but
White's under a little pressure. White's gone defensive, and it's all symmetrical pawn structure. But
queen a6 is a good move, good-looking move.
very much so. That's
Ugh, knight c1, yuck.
Ooh, that's ugly.
Yeah, I mean, knight b3 would be more active. No, maybe you'd lose the pawn, huh? Okay, knight c1. Okay. And Black is still trying to prove that he has an advantage, but you know what? White's advantage on the clock is already probably sufficient compensation here.
Yes.
I'd rather
So this game will be interesting.
Yeah, it will. And finally, Christopher Desert versus Polaris.
Teodoro Polaris.
And this must be top board in the under 1800 section. And Theodora has come back and played tons of chess here at the Mechanics. I think he's been in every event since Over the Board Play was reinstated here. And he's been doing
you
very
have to.
well.
You have to love his games and his results. He's made his mark.
He's been playing chess here at the club for many, many years. Since the 1990s, I think. let's run back on this game really quickly. Panov Botvinnik attack. Or Queen's Gambit exchange. What is this?
Yeah, it goes from a lot of different openings, but and on Botvinnik would probably be the most normal name. Well, now it's though transposed to
A
semi-Tarrasch, Nimzo Indian.
Semi-Tarrasch.
We call it a Queen's Pawn game.
Knight f6 looks like a slow move. I don't approve of that. It's not necessary.
Little passive. Why not just develop the other knight?
Mm-hmm. You know, these positions have sparked thousands of combinations. You know, this is one of those tense. This opening,
Yes.
These opening positions are so. The positions end up in lots of problem books. I've noticed, you know, with white to play and win or something like that. Spectacular, spectacular breakthroughs.
I don't see a tactic quite yet, but there's a lot. Bishop h4, you can get bishop to d1. There's maybe things on e6, maybe.
Yeah, here rook e6. You know, Tal would play something like rook e6 and queen g6 or knight e5 or something crazy.
Yeah, here it's just about a some breakthrough for white. Maybe not quite yet, but
White's thinking about it. All right, we're gonna run way up to board one, Nick, where we haven't been in a while. Ezra Chambers, white against Alex Chin, and the game we left off here after e6, black took, and white played for the squares in the center. And why did black play g5, and why didn't white just play knight e4? Like, doesn't knight e4 look logical here? Is the knight going in the right direction with this move? I guess this is another way to play the position. It's more direct. It's going for the straight for the e4, e6 pawn directly.
Which can advance, or you can trade first and then advance it.
White's still better, I guess. Rook e1, king d7. White hasn't gotten anywhere yet. Then the knight could go back to f3 to e5, try to go to e5, but black's got bishop g7. I like the idea of blockading with knight e4 first and working long term on the weakness. I thought that was the way to go. But Ezra might be right here, because tactically this might be good for white. I mean, rook a6 really ties the knight down, the rook down. And rook b6, c4, a4, that doesn't look that much better. I don't know.
It's interesting. Rook b6, you don't want to take the pawn on a7 because the knight gets shot, but pawn to c4. And then if pawn to a6, ooh, you can't play bishop e3. So what's there?
Yeah, I think this is, you know, I'm not attracted to this kind of vague forcing stuff unless I really see something totally clear cut. But
White must be better. I mean, just starting with that isolated pawn. Even if the knight goes back to d4,
But it was an interesting decision right here after G5, where I think I would have played knight e4, I think, here.
Yes. And again, white would be a little better. Could be a little better with the pawn structure.
Yeah. All right, so this game is interesting, but let's go down to Winslow's game. And ooh, black's gotten something here. White missed the boat. Let's see how this happened. Queen c5, white played d4, black took, and Elliott played rook d8. h3 was played, which is a mistake, obviously. After bishop f3, white can't take with the... White's barely surviving here.
Well, you can take with the queen, knight e5, bishop b5.
Right. But Elliott has queen takes b5.
And did that happen?
Yes.
So clearly better endgame for black with Flamingo's pawn.
Yeah. This is experience showing here.
Well, yes, okay. International master Winslow, getting a better endgame against his opponent.
Okay, and with way ahead on the clock as well. So,
But material is even.
That's right. Here's Nathan Fong. This game had that. We left it off around here.
Wow. Okay, he's gotten some action for the pawn. Sean Kelly is playing for action. I will be right back.
Black's move. And I'll have to see what happens when Nick gets back, if we can fix that video, because now it seems to have gotten kind of strange. So what's going on in this position? I think black still has to prove that he's got what it takes here. He's definitely got some chances though. Queen b4 even threatens the knight. I guess it goes back to b1, and then, or actually, yeah, and then the threat is queen takes d6. So, well, wait a minute. Queen b4, knight b1, bishop h6 check. So queen b4, king b2. Is that for real? No. Black can play. I think black gets through there. He can probably play d5 even. Queen b4, king b2. Bishop f8 threatens d5, or you could play. Nah, king can't go to b. I think white's in trouble here after queen b4. Oh, wait a minute. Queen b4, queen d6, rook d6, bishop f8, rook a6. I think queen d6 might actually work on queen b4, because the rook can take on a6. Black could play rook a8, rook a8, rook a8, knight b, but then knight b5, rook a2, and it's not mate. Maybe black should start with bishop f8, or take on e4 first. Black is close to something here, especially you can take on c4 as well as throwing bishop h6 check in. I mean,
Okay, there's something about that queen d4, and Mike Wilder suggested queen b4, queen d6. Just queen a5, backing up, keeping all the lines open,
oh, that's a wonderful move. That
and
is
threatening the
a
bishop at base.
fantastic move.
So we could try that. Queen to b4, queen takes d6, holding everything for a moment. Just step back, queen to a5, threatens bishop f8.
Brilliant move.
Knight.
Yeah.
The king may go to b2, and all those wonderful black pieces, can they make things work? Does bishop f8 overload the white position?
I'd gotten that far. Yeah. Seems to be good for black. I don't think anything can stop d5. And if you play knight b1, black plays bishop takes c4, and clearly doing okay.
Okay, well, everyone seems to agree that I may be a little slow to announce that, but Mike Wilder was giving that, and Paul likes the black position. Still, okay, I'll play devil's advocate. Can might hold on with knight b1 or something. Just
Right now. So
and then actually even queen b4, knight b1.
Then I was thinking bishop h6 check.
Yeah, that's true. But then king b2, bishop c4, queen d6.
Yeah. That's that. I was thinking along those lines too. If white can give back the pawn, force the exchange of queens, he might be able to have salvation.
The battle's over on the queen side, which you kind of don't like your king being over there if you're white. But all right, if Julian can.
Nathan, well, it's Nathan and Sean.
If Nathan can hold the tactics,
Yeah.
be okay.
Okay, let's move on because we have other exciting games, Nick. For example, Adam Stafford versus Nicholas Wang. Look at this. We left this back here. Remember? And let's see what happened.
What was a compositional game somehow blown up.
White gave a pawn with knight a2 to try to play
I like that. Give the pawn, play for good pieces. So
and black took it.
Nicholas just grabs the pawn immediately.
Right, and white goes queen a5. Black goes back with the queen to b7, but now comes knight b4. So maybe queen b7 was a mistake.
Knight b4, what action? It's hitting the a6 pawn.
Yeah, wow.
You have to love how Nicholas has played this.
No,
how Adam has played this.
Yeah, Adam has played this.
Just,
oh, d5 has got to be hopeless. Oh, no. Well,
now, you see, if he had tried to defend with king to a7, rook d6 would have probably been a knockout blow.
You're absolutely right. So black is just busted. And white...
Yeah, that would have...
White can play knight c7. White can play knight c7 check, and knight takes b5, and that's going to be it.
Or should you go pawn takes e6 check? I don't know if he had to rush that.
Yeah, that's right. He didn't have to rush it. You're right.
Okay, maybe you take on b5.
Yeah, that's what yeah, you just take on b5. Then you play...
You don't care about the center anymore. You're just going for massacre on the queen side.
Yeah, rook b3. Of course, you could have finished with knight takes e6 if you had taken on e6 first. That would have been nice.
Hey, this looks so great. You go bishop to d8, queen to a4, c4. Well,
Yeah, look at that.
yeah. Of course, it has to be bad for
Also on bishop d8, white can play queen b4. And if rook c4, queen d6, check. I think black's just suffering.
Hey, nicely done by Adam. It's very aggressive play.
So far. There have been some exciting games tonight, Nick.
It was nice how Adam just didn't care about his pawns. Just give away those center pawns. He just went for the action, and it looks very justified.
I'm going to leave you here and take a short break, Nick. But rook takes f7 was played in the Guy Argo Kevin Sun game, and white is pouring on the pressure. He played rook f7, and Kevin jumps out looking for counterplay.
Two pawns down, he decides you better go for the action.
And Guy Argo is in the tank thinking. And I'm going to be right back, Nick.
Yeah, hey, I mean, Kevin's a very talented player. Even when he's down, he's gonna look for shots and tactics, and you have to be aware. So, Guy has done tremendously so far, but Kevin doesn't give up. He's gonna look for some things, and the queen is active, so there's some checks and stuff to worry about. That being said, this position must be winning for white with proper play. Yeah, maybe you could go queen to e7. Maybe you should start safely with just king to h2. That would be my preference. If you balance it right, the black queen can't cause you enough trouble because white has that nice control of the center. And look for sacrifices like rook takes g7. That seems unnecessary as of now. Just wait a bit. King to h2, so the king is safer. Pawn to d4, the center safer, and then white can win without having to calculate a lot of tactics. Okay, but Kevin's going to try to find something cheap and slimy. I wish you luck, Kevin. I'll just entertain us. It's not a good situation, but you're a very talented young player. So let's see what you come up with. Paul has the queen to e7. If white would go straight for an endgame, probably you just want to avoid that with the black pieces. And what can you do? Thing is, you can go queen e3 check, and you're not worried about your bishop getting taken on g7 because of perpetual checks that you'd be able to do. On the other hand, queen e3 check, king h2, still black can't do much, has to hang around. The black queen can't take pawn on g3 because of the white pressure.
So what's the verdict, Nick?
Maybe you could go rook to d8 to strengthen your defense. So you're lost, but give yourself some chances.
Black has a mechanism to play like queen check on draw on the diagonal, right? Perpetual check possible if the rook disappears. I was thinking of rook takes g7, for example. But then black draws easily, right, with queen checks. I'm sure you've been delivering far more sage advice than I have. What's your verdict, Nick? I think has Nick frozen? Maybe he's taking a break. Okay. And now we have the funny video. I think Nick has to try to get back to watching here. All right, we're going to move on here. And Adam Mercado is playing Steven Svobada. Maybe Nick will rejoin us, I'm not sure. We left off here with black winning the exchange, but white finding this nice knight e6 move. Black has to sidestep. King takes e6, queen e4 check just looks too dangerous. And yeah, Nick is going to try to rejoin us if he can.
Oh, okay. Am I back, Paul?
Yes, you are back, Nick. Good to have you back.
Okay, sorry, internet trouble.
That's okay. White did play this knight e6 move, and black did take, and then he hid behind the pawn with king e7, and white played f4, and black played queen back to f6, and white threw himself at black with knight e6 check, knight f5 check, and black is thinking. Clearly, the game is kind of turned around, and white's grabbing the light squares and the initiative and maybe a decisive attack.
Bad when you've got things under control and then you slip up and things go a bit wrong, and it's that sinking feeling you have to deal with.
It's at times like this that you need a junior mint, you know? We've had technical difficulties that have been solved by themselves.
Oh, is that right?
Or by Nick. He froze, then disappeared and reappeared again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's all good.
it's all good. Would you like a junior mint?
Yeah.
Gotta have one.
What a day.
Um,
I'm gonna relieve you of two of them. So.
yeah, you can have as many as you'd like. So this position is looking good for white. Let's move on for a moment. Get back to chess here. Oh, Aiko, this game we can't look at. Acosta,
now we have to look at it.
Acosta Clemens. Well, Aiko's game froze, and we have a DGT issue there.
DGT madness.
Okay.
And
It
look at this.
wasn't to do with the position.
And is Christian Clemens still thinking after knight c1? That's amazing. Huh. Either he's maybe he's frozen, or maybe there's just, he's trying to extract something from this position, that he's seeing ghosts. That happens.
How long has he been thinking? About 20 minutes on this move?
Maybe, yeah, at least 20 minutes, I think. Although I've been kind of going a little bit faster. Let's see, here's Mr. Porlaris again. Mr. Mechanics Institute Chess is of the month, I think. He's been playing in all our events and yeah, and just like having a great time. We saw white sort of massing his pieces over and black pretending like there was nothing wrong. 95, there must be a direct threat of something like just taking on d7 and taking on f6. No. Okay, black took.
Look at this defense. I mean, all those wonderful white pieces ready to attack. And now it looks like pawn takes e5, the white is crashing through to h7 with check. But Theodoro's got a clever defense, like just, stop that. And the queen stay on that diagonal.
Well, look here. Listen, if the queen goes to c2, rook takes d1, and suddenly white's in a little bit of a quandary there. How does he take back? If he takes with the rook, queen takes e5. The devil is in the details, right, Nick?
Indeed, indeed. So you have to do something like queen c2, rook takes d1 check, and queen takes d1. But that allows the black knight to just move away, more like d5, where
and
there's
black should be okay.
Yeah, no white check on the long diagonal.
A real skin of your teeth, by the skin of your teeth kind of move, huh?
Well, Theodoro, he plays this very careful defense when you play like that. Give him credit.
Yeah. And nerves of steel. Forged in the early rounds of the Mechanics Institute. Okay.
And you look for other moves for white, but
yeah, queen g3, queen h3, queen e2.
Maybe queen e2 might be best. Yes,
trying to cover h5 and g4 and d5 and the back rank and.
But it looks like Theodoro has pulled out the defense there.
All right, we're moving on here, and we're going back up to board 1, where we got this position, and he did play rook a6, white played rook e1, black played bishop g7, and white is still thinking.
Looks like black is hanging on to the pawns here. Okay, still it's a better pawn structure.
And white has placed himself in a bit of an awkward situation where the knight at b5 is not really doing anything. I mean,
yeah, you're just going to go back to d4, but that can get taken, and then black has this wonderful knight on b5,
and black is now in better developed even.
Yeah. Ezra has not played this that well and is lower on time. It's like the old Ezra, 5 years ago.
All right. Let's take a look at the old Winslow.
Okay, who is like the old Winslow 5 years ago.
All right, so he had this better position. White played bishop e3, I guess threatens knight e6 or something. Knight c4.
Very aggressive
Wow.
move, calculating, not afraid of knight e6.
And white does it. And black continued to play positionally with taking on e6.
Now, if knight had taken on e3, what would have happened?
Knight takes d8.
Knight takes d8, knight takes f1,
Knight,
and then
knight takes
knight takes
b7.
b7, hitting the bishop. Okay.
Remember, Winslow is not called the Great Winslow for nothing.
Aha.
So he just
Calculates
keeps
well.
it simple. He takes on e6 and maintains this nice positional advantage. In fact, look at white's pawns are completely fractured here.
It's kind of nice that you allow a big shot and you're still a lot better. You know, knight takes e6 looks so nice. Grab a pawn, win a pawn, but
This in fact it's actually increased black's positional advantage, I think.
What if white would go bishop to d4? Oh, I guess you're not afraid of the pawn on g7. You go rook to b1 to try to win the b7 pawn. Something like knight to d3.
Or knight to a4. But I guess knight to d3 makes sense.
And then bishop to d4, and then you discard the pawn on b7 with, rook d7 or pawn b5, and
Rook
have that
e1.
huge additional advantage.
Rook e1 is being suggested by Mike, and I looked at that for a second, if I may say so. Knight e3, rook e6 check, king doesn't seem to be good for black, so because the bishop can back up to a3 after the rook checks on e7. I guess.
Oh, well, so that's a tactical one. Rook to e1. That's
Black can go king f7 though, and then on rook b1, knight d3, rook b7 is check.
it's definitely check.
Although black could play rook d2 instead of knight d3. Can he maintain the knight there?
So king f7, rook f1, king e7, rook to b1, rook to d2, bishop to a3.
Oh, bishop to a3. Oops. I didn't see that.
Well, okay. Then knight to g3, but rook takes b7, check, king to f6. Still attacking the rook on e1, the pawn on f2, the rook on pawn on a3. But Mike's move is excellent. Rook f1 puts it into a tactical position, because positionally black is better. White needs to mix it up in order not to lose positionally.
Okay. It's going to be interesting to see if Gimmelfarb can come up with anything here. But so far, we're going to move on to this very interesting game here, where we were wondering why black didn't play queen b4, but he didn't. Instead, he played this way. He takes on e4 and plays bishop f8, threatening d5. And white swung over with the queen to check and plugged up the hole with rook d5.
A drastic way to do that.
Yeah.
Just logging it up and figuring if bishop takes b5, that the bishop on c2 comes into play.
Yeah.
So You gotta love it. It's like action chess, entertainment for us.
Absolutely. And Black just decides I've had enough. I'm going to take it.
Okay, that was sort of quick. You might have waited a move. On to F5, perhaps.
Well, we're not going to wait to see what White does. We're going to go jump down to Nicholas's Wang game against Stafford after knight a6 check. It looked like he was just getting killed. Something. Oh, this is what? Knight c7? Really?
Oh, but that's a sacrifice to start with, isn't it? Okay, if anything takes the knight, rook to b3 check would win some material back, like the rook on a h8.
Yeah.
So,
Queen c7, rook b3 check. Mm-hmm. King
well,
c8.
Nicholas Wang just, he
Rook b6 is played by Nicholas at counterattacking
very nice. And then
b2.
look at that knight on d
And then knight takes
on
d5.
c7.
I think White's lost the thread of the game somehow.
Oh, that move just cannot be good. Knight takes d5.
And he just took it back. He didn't take on b2 first.
Oh no, you don't want to do that. So guard your own material.
And now White's
he just gave up a piece. Adam, you had played so well, and this looks a little crazy.
He's got 3 pawns for it, and the threat is rook g7.
Yes, I guess.
Maybe not, because rook b2 and rook b1. No, the rook b1 is check. Oh no, it's, what am I saying? It's not check. Yeah, no.
Okay, this is actually a very critical moment.
I think Black might still could be in trouble. Or rook a6 trying to draw by a perpetual attack.
Yeah, this somehow White was winning, and now it's very unclear. And it's Black's move. I don't quite know the move, but I'm thinking there ought to be something good for Black. And
Queen a6, rook a6, rook c8,
a lot of possibilities.
rook b2 check, of course.
Rook c8, rook to d7 looks pretty reasonable. Those 2 rooks on the D line are a real plus for White.
What a game. All right. Well, I mean, they're giving us a lot of excitement this evening, Nick. Let's move down to Guy Argo and Kevin Sun.
Yeah, that's the thing. We have these Mechanics Institute players with just a lot of inspiration.
I mean, these are really exciting games. The players are inspired. Is it a full moon or something? What's going on out here tonight in San Francisco? I don't know. Werewolves?
Yeah.
Queen e7 offering the exchange of queens, and Black refuses.
Yeah, you can't just go down with a whimper. You have to keep the queens on. So rook g8 is good.
I see a forced win for White here. Oh, maybe not.
Oh God.
I thought rook g7 did it, but queen f4 check.
Yeah, don't recapture on g7.
Right.
Go for your counterattack.
Right. Okay.
So
White played back to f3, seeing no future on the 7th rank for the rook. Needs him as a defensive piece.
Okay, that is a very considered move.
Yeah, I agree. Queen e1, keeping an eye on everything. d4, also keeping an eye on everything.
Yeah, just holding. Guy is playing like a real professional here. Now you've won your pawn, and then you decide to be really solid.
Well, you gotta give the players a chance to mess up, Nick. You know, But still, no, it's true. I like the way Guy is playing. Like you said, professional.
Yeah, so Mike wants us to charge ahead with E6, which, okay, Guy decides to play.
And now the bishop participates in the defense of the perpetual check. So this
This is true.
yeah, this is not looking good for black.
No, but I think we'll have one more shot somewhere in the game where he can try to make it tricky.
All right, well, we'll see if that occurs later. Meanwhile, another incredibly exciting game. Knight e6, takes, king e7, f4, queen f6, knight f5, king e6, and it's white's move.
So what's happening? Queen e4 check, probably.
Rook e1 check? Gosh. Then the rook can go to the 7th rank, but maybe that's not. I don't know, Nick. What? Rook, queen e4, king f7. What then?
Yeah, then maybe. Oh,
Then maybe c5, and queen and bishop b3 check. I don't know, Nick.
maybe you put the bishop on c2 just to hold that wonderful knight on f5.
Yeah.
c5? Okay, Mike is saying. Okay, wait a minute, depends. Oh, to get the bishop into.
Directly
b3.
into the attack with bishop b3 check.
Now, do you want to go queen e4 check first?
Yeah.
And if king f7, then pawn to c5.
Yeah.
But you get the bishop in the game, the queen, the knight. Wow, that's vicious.
That's how I like to play, viciously. Yeah.
Well, queen e4 check, king to d7, then queen c6 check is
the end of the
ouch.
game.
Yeah.
I guess king can go back to e6.
Yeah, then maybe rook e1 check.
King f5, queen e4 mate.
Mate's pretty good. So Adam is really playing an inspired game here.
Okay.
I think he got a little lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this has been actually a wonderful battle. In fact, all the games this evening we're looking at are tremendous fights. This is the game that the DGT board messed up. And this is, something has gone. Is black really still thinking here after knight c1? I haven't, I can only trust that the DGT board does not lie. Okay, and here's Dessert versus Polaris. White played queen g3 and black goes for something with knight h5. Black could have played
very interesting game here.
He could have played much more safely, right, with knight d5.
Knight h5 is a little risky there.
I would say so. I would have just played to d5, I think, unless there was a reason not to. Queen g4 looks good. I think Theodoro has maybe misjudged this, but it's not over yet.
Maybe he should have traded rooks first before queen g4.
Mm-hmm.
Now black can go rook takes e1 check and
then knight takes d1, I guess, but then black can take on h4 and play g6. It should be fine.
That should be okay. I think maybe white should have traded rooks on d8 first before the queen g4. for.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's jump back to Ezra on board 1. Only one move has been played, and that's King F1 by White. All right, so we're moving on.
One slow considered move.
And he played Rook E1, and Winslow is in the tank, and only one move has been played here. So the players are slowing down. Hi, casual player. It's good to see you.
Now, do you remember who the casual player is? It's,
Yeah, he's casual. You know what I mean? I don't know any. I don't know anything beyond him more than that. Rookie 1. What a move! Found by.
Sorry, we should know
Winslow.
everybody's handle, but
Yeah.
we forget sometimes.
I think black is better here still, but I'm not sure exactly how to get to that perfect place where he's just stands better.
Yes, at knight to d3, you can be greedy. Rook takes e6 check, and
then
wherever
yeah, and
d7, f7, rook e7 check.
then the bishop can just return to a3. But then black could maybe throw in knight f4. So I don't know. Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on to Nathan Fong versus Sean Kelly. And this was the plug up the fire, the put your finger in the dike defense here.
The rook went right into the dike there, stopping the floodwaters from
Right.
coming through.
And then, but then f6, and black saying, I need another pawn on a dark square. But the queen is now unable to come to the defense. And queen h6 check or queen g5 is a threat.
Oh yeah, this queen h4 was a bit. Oh! You're allowing the trade of queens.
Yeah, white's misplayed this.
Oh, you mean that there's a lot of compensation for the exchange and the control of the lights. Even in the end game, something. But white would have liked to just stay in the middle game with king to b1.
And now it's a light square strategy for white. It's possible that it's going to hold for a very long time. This game is far from over.
Yes, but there's no reason for white to allow the queen to.
All right, we're going to move on.
Sean Kelly, well done, trading the queens.
And this had this. Black played rook b4. Is that for real? No, he must have played rook b2, king a1, rook c8, c4.
Oh, you have read the breaking news from our own intrepid reporter Richard Hack that we will not be getting a new governor. Neither the Terminator or anyone else seems to be replacing Gavin Newsom for now.
Oh, was Arnold Schwarzenegger a write-in candidate?
In 2003, he won the recall election.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And so we had another recall election, and neither you, Paul, nor Richard Hack ran for governor, and so the current governor just stayed in place.
I can't believe I didn't win. You know what I mean? I mean, I've been stumping, for votes. I've been out there. I've been knocking on doors, making cold calls. What? I can't get any. I can't get a vote.
Well, okay. I have to ask Richard. Richard, if you had known Paul was running for governor, wouldn't you have voted for him? It would have been really good for Chess in San Francisco.
I need to pay more to my minions.
Well, we missed an opportunity.
I don't want to be a write-in candidate. I want to be a hollered-in candidate. Okay, good night, casual player on the East Coast. Thanks for joining us.
Good night. Good night.
Right, good night. Good night. So what's going on in this game, Nick?
Well, I just heard from Mike Weller that Rook D7 looks strong.
And Black would love to play Rook B1 check, Rook takes B1, Queen takes D7, except for it's completely illegal.
Yeah, that would be bad. Okay, you need to start a new party called the Chess Player Party, something that
The chess
political party.
We'll just call it the chess party.
What happens on Rook D7? Is that a knockout blow? Can we find any move for Black at all?
I mean, Queen B6, giving back the piece.
Bishop, but that's a little sad. Don't know about that Rook C8, but okay, Rook C7, Queen B6. Then you trade the queens and take the bishops. I guess Black has drawing chances. Take on C4, but a little rough there.
Yeah, it's not hopeful for Black. And Rook D7, and Kinchmine, Rook D7, Rook B1 was my initial thought, of course, but unfortunately after Rook takes B1, you can't play Queen takes D7 because your queen is pinned to your king.
Yeah, we agree. Stupid pins, they're legal. It's allowed. But, a Rook D7, yeah, it's just that's cool. Afraid it just wins back the piece. This Rook C8, there must have been something that was a better try. Couldn't find it. Maybe something like Rook to B3, threatening the pawn on A3. Yeah, this Rook C8 just very logical move, bringing the last piece into the defense, but unfortunately doesn't solve the problem of Rook to D7, and White's just got a clear advantage again.
I was laughing and swallowing a junior mint, which explains my coughing. So I'm back.
And Paul all evening has been promoting junior mints. It's he has not received any compensation from this from junior mint, so just an honest evaluation.
Don't swallow them while laughing.
I think Kevin's son is in trouble. It's gotten bigger
Bishop
and
E5.
bigger.
Bishop E5 is deadly.
Oh my God. Nicely played. This whole game was really nicely played by God.
Yeah.
He threatens rook h7 mate. He threatens queen f6 mating.
Game over.
And there's no stalemates, no rook g7 or anything. It's
So this game, um, if we
oh, he didn't find your fabulous move, pawn to
he
c5.
played bishop b3 though, which is the same idea, but black found a4.
And that, okay, the bishop comes to c2, which is a good square, but pawn to c5 would have been a real killer.
This is still black is in. So what happens like on rook a e8?
That's just such a logical defensive move.
But then
so
queen
rook a8.
c6. I think white's just got a good game now all of a sudden.
Certainly that knight on f5, the bishop on c2, all the white pieces are good. Pawn on f4, but it's not a knockout yet.
All right, so black is thinking, and we're going to move on to. Okay, something is rotten in Denmark here. I'm not sure what's going on in this game.
Yes, Christian must have played moves. But
So queen h4 was played, and now black plays g6.
and it's solid for the moment. Pawn to g4 is really asking for it. So knight f4 ought to be good.
Yeah, Michael, I agree with you. Queen b7 is just, something along those lines. We're going to jump up to Ezra's game, which has gone king f1, rook d8. So we're still. White has to be careful. He doesn't want to run himself out of moves. Boy, that knight would look nice on e4, wouldn't it, Nick?
Yeah.
Instead of b5.
Alex Chin, he just played so well against such a higher rated opponent.
He's ready for c6 now, which is maybe. And then if knight d4, bishop takes d4, and black is probably good, quite a bit better there.
Well, at least pretty good.
Yeah. And let's go see how Elliot is doing here. Oh my gosh. Let's see.
Now, this is a lot of action.
So
Seems
knight
a bit
takes
too
b2,
much.
rook e1 was played. And Elliot jumped up with king f7, but that allowed rook b1. And I think you were looking at this, Nick, this line.
And now, rook d2 looks safer for some reason. Oh, yes, because you cannot play king to f6 because of bishop e7 check. It's a blunder from Elliot.
But wait a minute, but can't you do that and then play king f5? Oh, I guess bishop d8, knight e1. It's not quite clear.
This just looks wrong. He needed to play rook d2, and then black was doing quite well. But now all the white pieces are wonderfully active. b6.
Why didn't he play king? Okay.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. Just, ooh, this went so wrong for Elliot. Just one terrible blunder, I have to say.
He's 2 pawns down.
Yeah, 2 pawns. Mike, you're saying white is winning. Just,
Surprise, Mike. He's 2 pawns ahead. Rook c6.
Rook c6, maybe we go 95. I mean, it's bad, but
Oh, I see. Did he have to play rook c6? I suppose he did.
it's pretty good. What happens on 95? Bishop d4, you go knight f3, check, and knight d4 in the game.
No, you go. Knight takes c6, and you're up a rook.
Oh, that's even better.
So you have to play rook c7. And then Elliot is got trying for a little mating net or something here.
So it's not quite mate.
No, it's
hard to checkmate when your rook on h8's not helping out.
I guess rook takes a6 is good here.
Well, I predict Elliot draws the game.
Okay, I'm with you on that one actually.
He's in trouble, but been in trouble before.
All right, so this game had the queens coming off and white making a light square blockade. I would have played g3 there, but he plays g4. And black is going to get some kind of open file for himself. It looked to me like white should just play g3 here instead of g4. How does black make any progress?
Yeah, that bishop was well done. But okay, black is better trying to win the end game. Well, Don Kelly's played really well in the middle game. Let's see his end game technique.
Okay. But first we're going to go down to Nicholas Stafford Wang. And Adam is still trying to figure out if rook d7 is the end of the game.
And Adam has over an hour. So he senses this is a critical moment.
Hey, I've got a move here, Nick. Oh, no, it doesn't work.
You have a move on rook d7.
No, I don't. I thought I did. He plays rook b5.
Okay, well, safe, but
it doesn't. It may be losing. I mean, rook takes b5. Well, I don't know.
You're not winning your piece back.
No.
That's a whole piece. That's
What was wrong?
Wow.
What was wrong with rook d7?
You had to go rook d7. That's Ouch, Adam. That's all the time on the clock, but rook b5. Trade the rooks. You're a bishop ahead with black.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Oh.
Argo won this game by resignation. Mercado, Svobada. All right, black played. His bishop was attacked, or at least it looked. Yeah, I guess it was. But rook a, yeah. So he played bishop c3.
Oh, and bishop c3 and rook g1. Interesting. Okay, black rook comes to g8.
Couldn't white have won here with queen d5 like we were talking about?
Queen d5, queen to e6.
Oh, I see. All right, well, anyway, he played rook g1.
Rook g1, but now if rook h to g8, there'll be some fork probably on h6, but about rook on a8, swinging way over to g8, and are there any tactics? Because queen d5 check, you just only go queen to e6. Oh no. Yeah. Okay. Queen d5 check, queen e6. There's no knight h6 checks or anything. They don't work. The rook on a8 to g8 seems like black's very much back in the game.
Yeah, I think white has made this is unnecessary. This rook g1 move, it didn't contribute.
Because white's not so happy to trade rooks. Likes having that rook back there on f1 or something to help guard the white king.
Yeah.
But
It looked to me like queen c6 or queen b7 was the move.
rook on, so we say rook on a8 to g8. Black's doing well.
All right, we're going to come back to that. Oops. All right, something is definitely wrong in Denmark here. White is still thinking here. This is looking maybe good for black. Could be.
It's annoying. White had such a nice game, and now there's no clear way to go forward. I mean, that knight on h5 looks funny, but it's doing an okay job.
Skyan, I'm not sure which position you were talking about, but let's quickly go up to board one here. Rook e4. That's a good move. That's a nice looking move. Rook b6, and white's thinking here. Probably wondering whether to play a4.
Well, the knight looks like it can just go back to d4.
Yeah.
So you don't get an isolated pawn, which
Right.
was terrifying.
Let's take a look at this at Elliott's game here for a second here on board two. So on 95, Ilya played rook takes a6, and Elliott played g5.
So Elliott is down 3 pawns. Wouldn't worry too much.
He's likely to regain one at least soon, and he's trying to use the knight and the rook to form a little perpetual checky thing, or even a mating net if white's not careful.
Oh yeah. So if white goes king to g2, what's your plan?
King g2 is a nice looking move. Yeah, Elliott's in trouble here. Black is clearly in trouble. He should have probably played knight f3 check, but that was probably hopeless too.
Well, yeah, he's in trouble, but that happened before.
All right, let's take a look at that Sean Kelly game that Skyan was looking at. He's talking about a plan playing a5 and a4. Yeah, I see that. Good idea. White would probably jump in with knight b5 to try to plug up that idea. Let's see how this developed. I'm almost tempted to, well, okay. White's putting his pieces on awkward squares. This g4 was not good by White. I don't
No,
think.
it
It
seems
was
Black's
really a
getting.
mistake. Going back to this position, just g3 would have made it very difficult for Black to make progress. And White could meanwhile try to move this knight to e4 or something like that. I don't see what Black would have done. Knight b1, knight c3, knight e4. Combined with pawn to g3. g4 is not good, I don't think. Not to be too dogmatic, but this allows Black to maybe open things up here a little bit. Rook h8 is a good move.
I have to say, Sean Kelly's playing the end game well.
Okay. How about Stafford and Wang? Some moves have been played here, and those moves were after rook b5. For some reason, White chose not to play rook g7 here, which looks like it won the game. He played rook b5 instead. Rook takes b5, took with a pawn. Black got greedy with queen b6, and when White did this, and it seems to me that White is just kind of floundering here. Bishop c5 looks like it's almost winning. Although then there's, yeah. Queen f4, king a8, queen a5, bishop a7, or queen a7. Bishop c5 rather. What do you think, Nick?
Black's a piece ahead. It just, wow, what a strange move that.
Yeah, Adam seems to have really kind of lost the thread of the game here.
He slipped up with so much time. He had played so well. Looked like he was winning, but
okay.
Okay.
This
Game's not over.
After rook g1, Black offered the exchange of queens with queen e6 instead. And White didn't play queen c6, but played queen f3.
Hitting the bishop on c3.
Oh, that's true.
And yeah, that's a move.
And maybe preparing bishop to e4.
Bishop e4 really has some point to it. Like bishop f6, bishop e4 out. Being the rook on on a8, threatened to pin the queen with bishop to d5.
Black's bishop back here. Maybe Black should have played bishop to b2.
Safer.
Instead of c3.
Yeah.
And he didn't actually, and he could have also, all right, well, anyway.
Yeah, he lost at least one tempo, and it may be two, because maybe the queen has to go back to f6. Bishop e4 is a huge threat.
Especially if the Black king can't step up to f6 or something like that.
Yeah, but anyway, nice attack by Adam Mercado.
Yeah.
This is
And I don't know what to think here. I think moves have been played and they're not being recorded on the board. So
yes. No,
that's too bad.
it's been, I don't know, over an hour after knight c1. So. And yes, great. Now this is the top board in the under 1800 section.
Yeah. And after g6, white played rook c1. And thinking, I guess, that he's going to play knight d5, but Teodoro jumps in with rook d2. And any knight move is met by queen takes c1, right?
It is indeed, because there's no checkmate.
Although it could play knight a2.
Yeah, but it's not exciting for a white. I mean,
yeah. This has gotten interesting for black, for sure. Yeah, knight e2, rook takes e2.
One moment.
Take your time. I'm going to move on looking at these games. Back up to board one. Or Ezra Chambers has just played knight d4, and should black take on d4 or play king d7? Or, well, the pawn at e6 is threatened. I think at this point I might take on d4. If White can finish his development, he's gonna be definitely better. Yeah. So, okay. King g2 was played by Gimmelfarb versus Winslow. And black seems to be in trouble here. Three pawns down. His king is in a bind. Knight g6 looks like it would be met by rook f7 check. King e5, bishop d4 check. Black would be forced to play rook takes d4. He would regain one pawn, but it would be hopeless. I'm not really seeing much of what black can do in this position. So I'm going to move on. We're looking at Elliott's game here, Nick.
Yeah, and it's tough. What if can you do a sneaky move? Very hard. It's can you go rook to d? Nothing really works. You know, as Mike says, is there a mating net with the knight g6 and stuff?
Well, knight g6, rook f7, king e5, bishop d4, rook takes.
It's bad.
Yeah, that's just not. How could that work?
So you have to be sneaky, moving the rook to d2 or d1. Elliott has his work cut out for him, but he does need to think. He does need to be sneaky. Avoid mate right now. Those pawns on a2 and e3 are going to take a long time to queen. So
White has a threat of bishop e7, just in case black thinks he doesn't have to do anything.
You know, you might play something like rook a8, just trade one pair of rooks and get the white attack to be less, and black will have some counterplay. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's all uphill, but hey, I still believe in Mr. Winslow will pull out a draw.
Okay. And black has managed to trade a pair of rooks.
So it is clearly in black's favor here, trying to win with the exchange up. There's no,
Yeah, I think white's put up a poor defense here, actually. I mean, there's still possibilities of drawing here, of course, but they're diminishing.
rook is a good piece.
Yeah.
Comes to the H file and just infiltrates.
So
No fun for the white
the way that
side.
happened was white had switched the rook to h1, but now faced with h takes g4 check, felt he had to move the rook again, and black penetrated here with the rook. This is a funny. Oh, okay. So he wants to free the rook at g5, and he plays king f8.
Okay, well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
And white is just has nothing to do here.
What's wrong for white is that knight on a3 took too long to get into the game.
Yeah.
Could have been coming back as fast as he could. King f8 was a nice move. I've been impressed by Sean Kelly.
Yeah.
They had lots of fine moves.
He's playing with a plan.
Man with a plan.
And this is Stafford. This game, as we saw, black played rook c5. That looks very awkward for some reason, but maybe it's the best move. He's buttering up white's pawns on the queen side.
This is been a crazy game.
I'm not sure that black has played this in the best way possible. Although queen c2 check is a huge. This almost looks like game over. What, he's got to go king a1.
And you go rook d2
Oh, rook d2. Yeah, rook d2 as well. I think black maybe didn't find the clearest path here. After queen e3, all I need to do is put my bishop on that diagonal and it's over.
Well, it's just looking good for black no matter what.
He played rook c5. I find that a little awkward looking, but a4. Then he played rook c4. And white played rook d4. Black checks, white goes there, and black checks again, and white played rook d2, like you said.
And now queen e5 check trades the pieces.
And that should be a win.
Should be winning endgame, although takes a bit of technique.
Okay. Let's move over to Adam Mercado versus. Okay, so after queen f3 attacking the bishop, it went to f6. White played bishop e4, and black backed up with the king, losing the exchange in this manner.
Okay, to avoid the pin. So a bad situation having given back the exchange. Yet material is still even. Tough for black.
Black's under pressure, but it ain't over yet. And we know that this game is stuck in a time warp. So we're going to go over to this game. Top board. And white plays queen g4 with, I suppose, toying with the idea of playing bishop takes g6.
Yeah, that's definitely good. Like if you get greedy, take on b2.
Or queen b6, switching over to attacking, getting the queen off that vulnerable thing and attacking f2.
Yes, it's funny. It looked like black was moving around strangely with the knight on h5, but it all looks black, and the pieces are active now, all developed, all on good squares.
Rook takes b2 is a nervy move.
Rook takes b2, you'd allow bishop takes g6. It's okay.
He does it.
Okay, and
Theodora.
Mike Brown just says nothing to fear, but fear itself.
Yeah, and Teodoro does it. He's Mr. Mr. Mechanics Institute lately. This stuff. So, what happens? Bishop g6 takes queen g6, knight g7. What about knight d5 there? Queen c1, knight f6 check. Oh, queen g7 and this mate on g2. Yeah, that's true too.
Rook b2, gutsy move, but you just snatch a pawn. I love the sort of calmness and
Black's
courage.
play has been good. At least it seems that way. White hasn't been able to land the shot that he wanted to.
So how about your queen to e6? No, sorry, it's white's move here.
Yeah. Bishop g6 does not work. Takes queen g6, queen g7. Although queen takes e6 check, it's not completely.
But queen takes e6 and king to h8.
Yeah. Yep. Not good.
So you have to really slow down something like pawn to h3 for the
nice
white
move.
side.
Nice move. Pawn to h3. I think white just found this wrong-headed rook c1 idea. All right, let's move on a little bit here. Back up to board 1. Chambers. Black played king d7. He did not take on d4. And white's backed up with knight b3.
It's funny how that knight's run round and round and round, but it wasn't good on b5. It's good it's back to b3. Still a little edge for white now because you didn't trade off that knight.
This could turn much better for white if black's not careful. And there's the weak king side pawns too, like h4 later or something. And king d7. Black's moves aren't sticking together. Like after king f1, why play rook d8 if you're going to play king d7 2 moves later? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's not so well done. I mean, well, Allen's been very solid, but just King D7's a bit odd.
All right, down to Elliot's game. And look at that, Nick. He played rook a8.
Okay, it's just you get rid of one pawn, you're not going to get checkmated now. So you lose your other pawn, and you're not going to win the game, except you might get some terrible cheapos.
So Black's idea is knight g6 and knight f4, I suppose.
So, but if white plays bishop to d4, can't go knight g6 because of rook f7 check.
Yes.
E6 rook f8 check.
Yes.
Bishop d4 is out.
So
You
Mike is saying that white had a mating net here. With
I believe you, Mike. I believe you, Mike.
Yeah, I believe you too, Mike.
This is
Yeah.
this is almost as bad.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to Nathan Fong and Sean Kelly.
Oh, bishop e6. Elliot, you got Mike going. Kelly's got a winning ending, but just takes one slip to let White back in the game. That knight is just never been doing much for White side.
All right, well, we'll see how this progresses. Stafford and Wang. Oh, the white king is just traveling the board here on a passport. Let's see what happened. Check, king b2, check, rook d2, rook b4, king c2, queen c7. That's,
oh my.
That looks forced. Check. That's forced. Check.
Forced? Again?
Forced. Forced, right? Because if queen e3, rook e1 check. And if king d3, rook c3 mate. Wow. Looks like bishop d6 would have worked there too. Where's black going with all this?
Well, okay.
Like right here, bishop d6. Oh no, queen b6. He should have taken that pawn on f5 with check. What was wrong with that?
A rook to b1.
Why didn't he play queen takes f5 check here? He played king f. He played this. Oh, I see. Nice. Very nice. We just played bishop d6 check. Anyway, he had to take it, and then queen e5 check. And now he plays queen takes rook. Nicely done, Nicholas.
Yeah, a lot of checks, as Richard Thack points out.
Yeah.
That
looked like it was pretty much forced here, all the way back here.
But Adam Stafford was winning. He had played a great game in the opening.
Yeah.
And missed this rook to d7.
All right. Nicholas
So-
should bring home the point there. And
But that was two of our most talented club players playing, and it was quite a battle.
and black is, black trades the rooks. We're talking equal game here.
Oh, nice move to get that rook to d8.
Just looks equal now.
I think, yeah, I didn't like that rook to g1, kind of giving black a tempo to defend.
And in a way, that would be a just result, is a draw from this game, because at the first, black was much better than white punched back to become much better, and now there's been some faltering on white's part. Black is playing. This has been a good game, I think.
Judge Paul deems a draw as a fair judicial outcome. Of course, check is not a fair game. Cruel and tough game. In this case, though, we may get the just result.
All right. And that just you probably know that the Acosta Christian Clemens game never went anywhere after move 16 for some reason. It just stayed stuck on.
We're curious to get an update if Abel or Judith somehow comes into the office.
We don't understand it at this moment. We're sending it to NASA to try to figure that one out.
They might.
Now, black just played knight g7. Does this give white any kind of crazy opportunity? No, probably not.
You go knight to e4, queen takes c1, knight f6, check, has to go to f8, knight h7, check.
Well, I see some flaws with this, I think.
And it happened? Did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like you'd get a draw, but actually, how do you avoid it? Knight, go to queen c1, knight f6 check, king has to go to f8, knight h7 check, king has to go to e7 if you try to win, queen takes knight on g7 check, king goes to d8.
That's a way for black to lose, probably.
Yes. So now bishop takes e4, rook takes c7, bishop b6, rook takes e8. That's kind of an even end game.
Yeah, a little bit. And black missed queen to g7. Yeah, queen takes g7.
The 94 is just a stellar move. Oh, Theodoro, you're probably winning, but this nice shot. 94. And we think black is going to hold the game.
You mean white is going to hold the game?
Yes, sorry, white's going to hold the game after being in a bad situation.
Amazing.
Well, Theodoro is going to try to think of something. There you go, queen f7, knight f6 check, king to f8.
Knight can go back, yeah.
All right, he'll try to think of something.
Yeah, that's actually possible, I guess.
Oh, queen f7, you just trade on f7 and go knight d6 check.
Oops.
That's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, e7, that's all very risky. So
Yeah, we're going to take a look at Elliot's game right now. Because I heard that there was some. Oh, uh-oh. We saw this last week.
My God.
Did you just fade out or what happened?
Let's see. Rook A2, Bishop E3, Rook C2, Rook.
Now Bishop should have
Whoa!
gone to.
The rook got trapped,
Oh my God.
but does Black have a positional draw here?
Well, the thing is, those pawns, as long as that pawn doesn't go to H5 or F5, then it's okay. How do you stop that?
Can you put the rook on the fifth on like D5 and prevent F5?
So it's maybe winning, but it'd be tricky. And
Wow. Elliot. This could be one of those 1 in a million end games that Black is able to hold a draw, positional
three
draw.
pawns. Yeah, 3 pawns, because that G5 pawn just had to
It's in
get
the
ahead of
worst
itself.
possible place.
Yeah, on a dark square, same as the bishop, ahead of the other two guys.
So good. People just had his ice cream and feels 100%.
All right, the tournament director is jacked up on sugar and threatening to conquer the world.
So strong.
So does the tournament director know what's happened in the Christian Clemens game?
I haven't gotten an update. I have not gotten an update. So after King D7, Knight B3, Black switched over to King E7, and White struck at the weakened king side pawns with pawn to H4. Black decided to ignore the threat to the G5 pawn and doubled his rooks on the D file, and White is in the tank thinking.
Oh, now does that actually work? I would have gone maybe Knight F6 first instead of Rook to D6.
Yeah, I ask you, what is going on here? Why doesn't White just take the pawn on G5 and say thank you very much?
Let's be greedy. Yes, take that. Ouch! That's an important pawn. Now, is it the idea Knight takes C3, pawn takes C3, Rook to D1 check? But I think you don't bother going back Rook to E1. You just go King to E2.
Yeah.
And it's just not working.
I think I'm not sure. I think Black is just falling apart here with this move. I don't understand it.
Yeah. No, that's
just
an error.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Alan shouldn't have played a fine game, but that's...
White is still thinking. Ilya is still thinking here. With 9 minutes on the clock, by the way. It's not that he's going to lose, but it may be more difficult to make. What do you think is going on here, Nick? What's your intuition? Well,
my guess it's a draw. Well, of course, White can't lose by any reasonable means, but say you go forward with King to F4, trying to get some play.
Nope. He decided he didn't like your idea of being active and played back to G2.
Okay, so just what are you possibly going to do? Rook to A3. Maybe you're just satisfied with a draw. Yes, I don't. Really hard for Black to win this position, but I'm just projecting the experienced player Winslow will just hold the draw.
Okay, let's go to Fong, Kelly. Oh, Black is doing great here. Has made significant progress, I think.
Back to even in pawns.
Bishop
The white
C.
pawns are split.
He could have played Bishop C1, just taking the A3 pawn. Oh no, wouldn't quite have taken it, would it have? White would have played King C3, Bishop A3, King B3 anyway.
Yeah, few tricks.
Mm-hmm. All Black needs to do is get his king to C5 or something, and this game is going to be beyond White's grasp.
Taking the rook away.
The dark squares just totally belong to Black here.
Yes, it's really need the white squares on the queen side too. Oh, attack a pawn. Good idea.
All right, we're going to move on to Stafford Wang. Oh, this game must be over. There's been no moves, and the clock is not moving.
Adam Stafford had played so well, but
And
went down.
And we saw the end of this game. And now Mercado versus Svobada is
Bishops of opposite color, queen endgame. So yeah, should be a draw with good play, but there's going to be attacks.
Somebody could make a serious error in a position like this.
Something like bishop to d4 threatens checkmate.
And then it's overlooked. Yeah. All right.
And then queen to g3 is probably the only defense.
Okay, this did happen, Nick. After 94, queen f7 was played. A blunder.
Oh, no. No. Okay.
A terrible blunder by Black.
Oh, Theodoro. Now, what can you do, Theodoro? You've just lost a lot of material. Wow. So 2-4, you're down on the exchange. Oh, I don't know if I would have traded for that knight.
Yeah, it's going from bad to worse.
Yeah, you can go rook to b3, maybe. Try to get some pass pawns.
That's true.
But you're gonna lose. it. Theodoro, one sort of oversight, and before that, maybe the defense could have been better.
Rook b3 gets 2 pass pawns. Don't put it past Teodoro yet.
Well, rook a1 might hold some stuff.
Details.
Yeah. I think they can at this stage of the game, late at night, they can easily miss something.
Chambers did not take on g5.
Who knows? Okay, you're better, but
Not
Maybe
sure
bishop.
why.
Maybe bishop f6 here.
Maybe black would have taken on c3, and then just played bishop takes c3, rook b1, rook d1 check, and then I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't do it. Bishop f6. Knight f6, rook e2, g4. Knight f6, rook e2, g takes h4.
Yeah, let's try to be greedy. Just take. Didn't take us. We'll take you.
Right, exactly. Knight f6, I guess rook e2, because otherwise, what, you're losing the 2 pieces for a rook?
Yeah, like knight f6, rook to c4, pawn to b5. He'll go back to e2. And then, yes, pawn takes h4, and you'll regret not taking that pawn.
Yeah, I don't know what Ezra must have seen something we didn't. Oh, look at Elliot easily holding a draw here, I think.
And then now he's playing for a win.
Amazing. What happened here?
Let's see.
King g2, king h4, g6, and that loses that pawn.
Okay, so he pushed and it loses just rook
and now we have this, and this is of course an easy draw. Even if white lost one of the pawns, f4 check looks wrong, completely wrong.
Yes, things are going really wrong.
All white has to do is just sit on this position.
Yes, thing moves around or whatever.
Black is, I mean, of course this is a draw anyway.
Oh, it's a draw, but 4 minutes to play.
Oh, the king went to e5. They agreed to a draw. It's official. Okay. Wow. Elliot escapes by the skin of his teeth.
Well, honorable of him not to try to, slime the guy in the time, a low time situation.
Yeah. So this game went like this. And black to move. Has he overlooked something here? King b6, knight d6, king c5, knight b7. So what? King b4. Looks like black's in control here.
Yeah.
Inching towards the win. Nice game, Sean Kelly, so far.
At least the white knights become tricky after all this time.
Stafford Wang, we know the result of that. Mercado Svobada. This game is stuck here. Did these players agree to a draw? They might have. The rooks are off.
Yeah.
The rooks are off, and the time is not. I don't see any time thing. It's possible these players have agreed to a draw. Chudoro is losing this game for sure.
For sure. Okay, that's very confident. Go pawn to a5. Pawn on a4.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's got a bad game, Nick. That's all I meant.
Exchange and pawn down. Yeah, that's not good. Not good at all.
All right.
Oh.
Back up to board one. results. Yeah, I'll let you do that, and I'll be right back. Introduce yourself to the evening.
Ooh. Oh yeah, like hey everyone. Gonna enter.
So, Abel, was there some result in the Christian Clemens game?
Yeah, Christian Clemens lost. When I looked at the board, he was down queen for a rook. So Anthony Acosta won that game. And gonna enter a result for that. And then you guys probably already know the other result I need to put in is the Adam Stafford game.
Oh, yes.
Nicholas Wang won that one.
Adam could have won at one point.
Is that yeah? He knows that because he was telling me that in the in the hallway. Okay, and then Argo won a great looking game. Ako Hidari won, but we were having issues with the board, so I'll put that. And then Elliot drew. And so that's where we're at so far. I think all the other games are that we can see are still going. And then the Sean Kelly and Nathan Fong. Sean Kelly's sort of having some breakthrough moments because it wasn't that long ago. He was like a 1500, 1600. And he's a student of Josiah Stearman. And the results are showing. It's been playing really well as of late.
Yes. You know, Sean has improved a lot recently.
And you know, we're gonna credit a little bit the Mechanics Institute because I know he's played online with us a bit. So, but probably Josiah had something to do with it too. And Mike Walder, hey, how's it going? What's been going on with the Ezra Chambers game here?
That has been an end game and been a bit strange for a while. Alan Chin, we think, should like take the rook away with knight f6 and just grab that pawn on h4. White's taken so long to get developed, but finally seems to have gotten developed. And if you let him, he'll just consolidate better pawn structure.
It's like it's move 22, but they've been nursing their moves because time is getting short, but not a whole ton of chess has gone by. What happened?
You have to say these games are now very tough for your top ranked players.
Yeah, and Alex Chin, he's no he plays everyone tough. He's kind of funny because he always reaches out and is asking, you know, hey, if you need a house player, put me in. You know, so he's consistently plays, although he never like enters a tournament, but he entered the TNM. So, but it seems like he plays strong. He's trying to play Ezra strong. And this is the other game I was looking at. It looked like it was a ton of tactics going on with Christopher Desert and Teodoro Porlaris. And it looks like White is getting the better of this.
Yes.
All right. Well, I gotta get back out there, and I'm gonna have Paul join you in the commentary because I'm no good to you. Looking at the chess. All right, everyone. Here comes Paul, and I'm back in the chess room. Oh, and by the
That
way,
is-
Judith won her game. She
Oh,
played an extra rated and grinded out a king and pawn endgame
Wow.
to victory. And I know Paul was giving her some pointers a couple weeks back after she played and didn't convert actually. It was a rook and pawn endgame actually, and yeah, she got it done. So I'm sure you'll be hearing about it later. So
Abel,
Yeah.
you did see that card for Deb on your desk there.
yeah, I signed it. Let me like put it in her office actually. So before I forget. So yeah, thank you.
Did I sign it?
Or to Laura's office.
Right. Yeah. I'll find it. I'll put it in there. This one mine. That one, I think. All right. No. This one mine because it doesn't have. Yes.
It's the busy chess office, folks.
Actually, may not be the same.
We've got International Master Elliot Winslow in the office here, along with chess room director Abel Talamantes.
No, this one's yours. And
They're talking about which one's theirs and which
this is
one's.
the new one. Yeah. Okay. Then that must be yours. Yeah.
I don't understand this game, Nick, at all. And I'm talking about chess. I don't understand the game of chess.
Well, we need to ask Judith because she just won her ending. Kind of like Magnus won his game against Faruja, which was a bit confusing, but
Oh yeah, did
And
you
our
see that game,
phone
Elliot?
endings.
There's been some funny chess games up at the top lately. Carlsen lost to Karyakin. Did you see that game?
Not sure I did. Did you see the Nepo beating Karyakin game? With Bishop takes A2, mirror of Spassky Fischer?
No, I didn't.
That's worth seeing.
Huh.
That's a great game.
Nepomniachtchi beating Karyakin with Bishop takes A2. game.
Berlin Roy.
Huh. Chess never see. Yeah, bring the game to the chess cafe.
This game? Oh.
No, oh, okay. Michael's saying, Elliot, phone home.
Yes, I will. I have to turn my phone on.
oh, Judith came to the chess cafe. That would be really good.
Oh yeah, Judith's game to the chess cafe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, we have to get the PGN sent to us, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. And Judith has to show up. We haven't had,
She can. She's coaching a class.
yeah, she's coaching a class, and we have to,
We're showing off our skills with the kids.
King F6 is played by Alex Chin against Ezra Chambers, and that's confounding Ezra. He can win a pawn, right, with takes on G5 and then rook G4?
Bishop H6. And,
Oh, yeah.
Also, there's that knight can hop in at some point. If I were him, I'd just bring the other rook into the game.
Time to do it,
Double on the E file.
Black is walking a precipice here. He's due to overlook some shot. All right, let's move it over to Nathan Fong and Sean Kelly. Oh no.
Whoa. Okay, that's that D pawn's become a monster. That's But what happens? It's Bishop C3 check.
Well, Black can play Rook D4, right?
And yeah, the pawn queens, you give up the rook, you take the A4 pawn.
And then White probably gets back for a draw.
Looks like, yeah, that
Yeah.
white king charges up.
So bishop c3 check is maybe the try.
Bishop c3 check, and then something like where king to c2, rook e2 check, king to
d1.
c1,
Can I go?
and
Can I go to d1? No. I have to go to c1. But then king b3.
well, then you'll have a knight c5.
Oh yeah.
check. You disrupt the main.
Yeah.
So it looks like you can't really stop that.
This is gonna end in a draw, maybe.
Yeah.
That's amazing. White was getting hammered here just a few moves ago. King b2. Let's see what went wrong here. He did knight d6.
Oh, he gave up to d pawn.
Gave up his bishop. That's hard to see. That he's got this move d6. That's not an easy move to see.
Nicely done.
Really nicely done. Rook
He might have checked with bishop c3 check before taking the bishop on.
play bishop c3 check here.
I'm not sure it matters actually. Maybe it just.
But this should be a draw, I think. The white king.
Yes, it's looking like a draw, and that's not very satisfying for black.
No, I agree. Wow. A lot of tough games here. Elliot Drew.
Certainly has been.
And this game is going to go down to some kind of time scramble. Mercado, Svobada, this end queen, and this game has gone from queen, rook, and bishop to queen, rook, to queen and bishop, and now to bishop versus bishop.
Okay, so they do get a bishop of opposite color endgame, and that should be the end of it.
Draw is predicted.
I mean, something like bishop to e4, and then on h3, just hemming in the king.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it would take a serious mistake for somebody to lose this game.
Yes.
And here's Desert versus Polaris. Black needs something cheap here.
Okay, yes, that ouch, that knight attack. Well, it was that one terrible move, queen to f7, that allowed queen takes queen check and then a knight fork.
So what? Rook e1, and if rook e5, then king f1.
Oh, good night to Michael, who is off.
Yeah, good night, Michael. And back up to board one. Alex Chin, and I'm wondering if we've gotten stuck on this board too. I'm going to go take a quick look. So
yeah, this is a big game. We'd like to see what happens. Folks, Paul is double checking, seeing we've got a computer glitch, which happens once in a while. But fortunately, he just walks about 20 feet out there, press office, the playing room. And playing room, yes, it's still got 60 players in now, but We hope it gets soon back to the pandemic games with 100 to 120 players. We fill up the fourth floor of the Mechanics Institute.
Yeah, some moves have been played in the some moves have been played on this board on this game, and I'm not sure why they're not registering on the DGT.
And does it look like White is winning the game there?
I think
or?
White has played Rook AE1, and I think Black's thinking after Rook AE1.
Oh, so only one extra move for White,
Yeah.
and that's not too bad. They have 12 minutes each, so
All right. We have 10. We have 10 DGT boards. Maybe we have. I think we have more. Good night, Richard. We might have some more TGT
Good night,
boards,
Richard.
but we don't always use them all. I think we have a sort of a standard 10. I'm gonna roll on to the Nathan Fong Sean Kelly game. For some reason, White's not bringing his king over to e4, where it'll never ever be. I guess he's got enough time to get there anyway. So he was worried about f5.
King to e3, maybe pawn to f5 would have caused some trouble attacking the knight on d8.
Yeah.
So now just give one tempo, like king b5, king to d3, and but also king b5, king d3, king to e6, king e4, king d12.
Black doesn't want to be too loosey-goosey here. Who knows? He could find himself in trouble.
Oh yeah, like king to b5, king d3, king c6, king to e4, king g7. He loses the game. Knight takes g5 and king e4.
Right. Funny that Black is the one nominally worse.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at our board 1, which
Well, I mean,
there's been no moves played after.
yeah, king f6 and then like nothing. Like, it's like no reason for it. Like what? Let's see. I'm wondering if it'll do anything. Let's see if it catches up. But
Can we refresh the page?
no, that's not related to that.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's just these two games going.
Yeah, Mercados and
Okay.
yeah.
Oh no, what's happened here, Nick? The players have gone.
My God,
Let's see.
they just won action. Oh my God.
So let's see what happened here. When queen g5 checked, the queens got traded. Black played king f6, and then decided that he was going to go over to the queen side. And actually, that makes some sense, doesn't it?
Wow, he is aggressive. Gotta admire that.
Look at Black; he's going straight over to the queen side, and that's something that we hadn't thought of. And white says, okay, take that. I'm going over to the king side. Rather than play c5, which might have been safer.
Ooh, king h4 is weird move.
Takes. And king h5, c5 check again looks like the right move. But
Bishop g7 really, I would have gone bishop g7.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't make sense to go to f8. Although you could save a tempo by not.
H4 is okay. Like that. On to a3, and you have to go c5.
Yeah. And then
Block that
is
pawn.
white winning?
Let's see. Pawn to a3, pawn to c5. Take pawn, b takes c5, pawn h5, c3, pawn h6, pawn to c. White's actually faster than it looks.
I mean, black doesn't have to take on c5. After c5, it's probably best just to play a3 right away.
It's you can go a3, pawn to c5. You can go a2.
That's what I meant.
Bishop takes. You trade the pawns on b6. You go pawn to h5.
Looks like white's winning.
Pawn to d5, pawn to h6. White's ahead.
Black did the wrong thing. Black definitely did the wrong thing taking this adventure here with king e5. He still could have played it safe around here, but he kept plunging in. It might be too late almost to reverse course here. Maybe he could still do it, but he goes in, and now I think this looks like it's winning for white.
Now, you have to stop and think at some point.
What do you think?
So there's the G pawn and the H pawn coming. We did king to E2. Yeah, at this point you're committed.
Yeah, no going back from your mistaken course. Now black thinks, but it's too late, I think. Let's see if Ezra's game updated. It did not. Okay, so I'm going to move on to Nathan Fong and Sean Kelly. They agreed to a draw.
Yeah.
After Bishop
And the
8.
bishop. How do you play for a win? You can go, that. We could have taken on E5 also. But. Draw is a good, just result.
And I think there's one more game. This game here. We have these 3 games going, but unfortunately, Ezra Chambers and Alex Chen game, we've lost track of that. So on to Fong and Kelly, that game. Okay, so we're just following one game here.
Black
played c5. Oh no. Actually, you know what? That's actually an interesting move.
Why not try it?
Yeah.
Just
it's actually a genius move, isn't it?
Because you take on facades and that.
And then you can play c5. Of course,
yeah.
And then you could also queen your pawn.
Okay, well, hoping he's forgot about en passant. But,
Oh no, he did it. And
okay,
now
and
comes
that's
the last shot with A3. And white finds C5. Oh boy.
oh well, that was something. What a battle this was.
Amazing.
It was really up and down. And okay, Black was winning, but it was very complicated and when the exchange, and White was then winning with the attack, and then just a terrific battle. Well, Queen, your C pawn, Adam.
Hope springs eternal.
Well, this was definitely desperation to give that pawn on C6.
I'm gonna go see if I can get an update on just how the Chambers game is going anyway, so that
Hey,
before
we
we
would
sit.
like to see that if you leave the position.
I don't.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, I'll just leave the position, but we won't be able to. We won't be able to update it. So.
It's a shame, as it was quite a battle, and uh, Alex Chin had played really well. I think he had very much equalized against Ezra, and Ezra's knight had been jumping all around to
Seems to be down the
B5 and such,
exchange now.
but then came back and he's got play against an isolated pawn. So it's the extra trouble that your opponent's defending all the time. You've got some nice squares, easy to maneuver your pieces, and they can't maneuver as easily. So that's often a way to win.
You could sign out.
Just a
Yeah.
very
Okay.
small advantage.
Let's both. So Nick, we are. Do I want to quit the DG pool?
Oh, no.
No. Cancel that. Okay. Boom.
Boom.
Boom. Oh, there you go.
All right, everyone. So we're gonna
Yeah.
sign out for now.
From the Mechanics Institute, it's Paul Whitehead and Abel Telementis' arm.
Yes, and we will be back more than the arm on Thursday night. Last 2 rounds, the Thursday marathon,
Oh yeah, with Gadir Guzinev
and
and Balachandra and other notable.
so we'll see you
Esther Chambers.
Thursday night.
Thanks everybody for watching.